Prepare to rethink everything you thought you knew. This is Mind Benders, your source for the most mind-twisting facts that will expand your understanding of the world. Let's bend some minds.
The hook and the enigma. What if this very moment, this precise second you are experiencing right now, is the only moment that has ever truly existed? What if your most cherished memories, the warmth of your first love's hand, the specific taste of your favorite childhood meal, the face of your mother, even the memory of clicking on this video just seconds ago, are all elaborate, intricate lies? What if they are not records of a life lived, but false data, perfectly implanted into a mind that flickered into existence, fully formed, out of the silent, empty void just an instant ago? This isn't the premise of a science fiction novel. It is the chilling, logical conclusion of one of the most fundamental and proven laws of our universe. It's a thought experiment so profoundly unsettling that some physicists call it cognitively unstable, a dangerous idea that threatens our very definition of reality. It suggests that you, me, and everyone you know are likely not the product of billions of years of cosmic evolution, but instead a fleeting, momentary hallucination. We are told that we are stardust, born from the remnants of cosmic explosions over eons. But are we? The laws of physics themselves present a terrifying alternative. An alternative where it is statistically overwhelmingly more likely that your entire perceived universe is a figment, and you are nothing more than a disembodied, lonely consciousness, a brain in a void, a Boltzmann brain. To understand this paradox, you must be willing to question the very foundation of your existence. So, take a deep breath. What you are about to learn may change how you see the world, your past, and yourself forever. Part 2. The first clues emerge. Our journey into this abyss begins with a concept you likely learned in school, but whose true cosmic implications are rarely ever explained. It's called the Second Law of Thermodynamics. It is one of the most unshakable pillars of physics, a rule that, as far as we know, has never been broken. In simple terms, the law states that in an isolated system, entropy, a measure of disorder, randomness, and messiness, always increases over time. Imagine a brand new deck of cards, perfectly ordered by suit and number. This is a state of low entropy, highly ordered, specific, and improbable. Now shuffle that deck. The cards are now in a random, disordered state. This is high entropy. There is only one way for the cards to be in perfect order, but there are trillions upon trillions of ways for them to be disordered. The universe is no different. It has a powerful, overwhelming, and relentless preference for messiness. Think of the universe after the Big Bang. It was in a very special, highly ordered, low entropy state. An immense amount of energy was packed into an infinitesimally small point. Since then, for 13.8 billion years, the universe has been following the second law. It has been expanding, cooling, and becoming more disordered. Stars form, burn their fuel, and die, radiating their energy out into the cold, empty void. Black holes consume matter, and then, over unimaginable timescales, are thought to evaporate away into a featureless haze of low-energy particles through Hawking radiation. The ultimate predicted fate of our universe is a state known as heat death, a future so distant it's almost meaningless to us, where everything is spread out, uniform, and cold, a state of maximum entropy, a perfect, featureless equilibrium, a silent, dark, and eternally boring cosmic soup where nothing interesting ever happens again. It is the universe's final, messy, high-entropy state. And according to the second law, this state is not just a possibility, it is an inevitability. It is the destination toward which all of existence is traveling.
Profound question. Why isn't it there already? Why are we living now in this miraculously structured, complex, and low entropy period? A universe filled with galaxies, stars, planets, and life. This very question is the first clue that our perception of reality might be deeply flawed. The universe shouldn't be this interesting. And the attempt to explain why it is leads us directly to our paradox.
Part 3. Deepening the Paradox. So, the universe trends towards a state of maximum boring disorder. But boring does not mean static. Even in a state of thermal equilibrium, the so-called heat death of the universe, there would still be activity at the quantum level. Tiny, random fluctuations of energy. Particles popping in and out of existence. A faint, eternal cosmic fizz. Now, we introduce a second mind-bending concept. Given enough time, the improbable becomes the inevitable. This is often illustrated with the infinite monkey theorem. If you put a monkey in front of a typewriter and let it randomly hit keys for an infinite amount of time, it will, eventually, type the complete works of William Shakespeare. The probability of it happening in any given second is astronomically low, but over an infinite duration, it is a statistical certainty. Let's apply this logic to our fizzing, high-entropy future universe. In this eternal sea of random quantum fluctuations, occasionally, by sheer chance, particles will arrange themselves into something more ordered. A single hydrogen atom might pop into existence and then vanish. A million years later, maybe a water molecule. But if you wait long enough, truly, incomprehensibly long enough, on timescales that make the 13.8 billion year age of our universe seem like a single heartbeat, much larger and more complex things could fluctuate into existence. A perfect replica of the Mona Lisa, a functioning starship, a small rocky planet. The probability is so low it's functionally zero in our lifetimes, but in a truly eternal universe, it's not zero. Given infinite time, chaos will randomly and briefly produce pockets of staggering order. This is where the tension truly begins to mount. Our universe, with its billions of galaxies, its intricate laws, and its capacity for life, is a state of extraordinarily low entropy. It is a pocket of immense order. So, one early explanation, proposed to reconcile this with the second law, was that our entire observable universe is not the whole story. Perhaps there is a much, much larger multiverse, or eternal background reality that is, on average, in a state of boring high-entropy equilibrium. And our universe? It's just one of those random fluctuations. A monkey, after eons of gibberish, happening to type out the perfect text of Hamlet. We are living inside a temporary, statistically unlikely pocket of order that, by sheer dumb luck, fluctuated into being from the eternal chaos. This idea seems to solve the problem. But when the brilliant physicist Ludwig Boltzmann first considered this, he unwittingly unleashed a philosophical monster. He realized that if this theory is true, it leads to a conclusion far more likely and far more terrifying than us living in a randomly formed universe. Part 4. The Promised Payoff. We stand at a precipice. We had established that the universe relentlessly moves towards disorder, and that in an eternal, chaotic system, pockets of order can randomly appear. But how does this connect to the terrifying possibility that your entire life is a fabrication? The answer comes from a 19th century Austrian physicist, a tragic genius who was hounded by the scientific community for his visionary ideas that now form the bedrock of thermodynamics. His name was Ludwig Boltzmann. Boltzmann was the man who mathematically connected the large-scale properties of matter, like temperature and pressure, to the statistical behavior of its microscopic components, the atoms and molecules. He gave us our modern statistical definition of entropy. But in doing so, he saw the horrifying implication of his own work. He saw the ghost in the machine. What we are about to unveil is the culmination of his logic. It is a thought experiment that serves as a profound check on our cosmological theories. It forces us to
confront the nature of evidence, observation, and consciousness itself. Many modern physicists believe that any cosmological model that fails to solve this paradox is a model that must be thrown out. Because if it's true, it means science itself is impossible, and our perception of reality is a grand delusion. Get ready, because we are about to reveal the Boltzmann Brain paradox in its full, mind-bending glory. Prepare to question not just the universe, but the very you who is doing the questioning. The profound conclusion, unveiling the paradox.
Here is the devastatingly simple logic. Let's assume that our ordered universe is, in fact, a random fluctuation out of a larger chaotic state of equilibrium. Now ask yourself a simple question. What is the smallest possible fluctuation required to produce the experience you are having right now? You perceive a vast 13.8 billion-year-old universe filled with 100 billion galaxies. To create that as a fluctuation is an astronomical task. It requires the precise arrangement of an unimaginable number of particles, 10 to the power of 80 particles, into a very specific low entropy configuration. The statistical improbability of this is staggering. It is a number so large that it would be impossible to write out in the lifetime of our universe. But is a whole universe truly necessary for your experience? All of your perceptions, all of your thoughts, all of your memories exist as electrochemical patterns within a single physical object, your brain. Your experience of the outside world is just an interpretation of signals. So, what if the fluctuation wasn't the entire universe? What if the fluctuation was just a single human brain? Imagine a brain, complete with a lifetime of false memories, spontaneously fluctuating into existence for a single moment. Memories of a childhood that never happened, knowledge of a planet called Earth that doesn't exist, the sensory input of watching a video about a paradox that isn't real. This single conscious brain, experiencing a simulated reality for a brief instant before dissolving back into the chaos, is the Boltzmann brain. Now comes the terrifying part, the comparison of probabilities. The amount of order, the number of particles that need to be arranged in a specific way to create a single functioning brain, is astronomically smaller than the amount of order required to create an entire universe. It is like asking which is more likely to be found washed up on a beach, a single perfectly formed seashell, or an entire fully staffed luxury cruise liner. The answer is obvious. Therefore, in any universe where observers arise from random fluctuations, it is exponentially, overwhelmingly, unimaginably more likely that the fluctuation will produce the minimal possible observer, a lonely Boltzmann brain with false memories, than a vast complex universe containing billions of real observers with real pasts. The math is brutal and unforgiving. For every one observer that is the product of 13.8 billion years of evolution in a real universe, there should be a Googleplex of Boltzmann brains flickering in and out of the void, each one convinced it is real. This is the paradox. If our current cosmological models are correct, and our universe is a random event, then you have no logical reason to believe you are a real person. The statistical evidence would overwhelmingly suggest that you are a Boltzmann brain. Your memories are fake, your body is an illusion, your world is a dream, and this moment of consciousness is a fleeting cosmic accident about to end.
The final twist and lingering awe. Does this mean that science has proven your life is a lie? No. In fact, most physicists see it the other way around. The Boltzmann brain paradox is not seen as a description of reality, but as a powerful diagnostic tool, a reductio ad absurdum. It's a way of testing our theories about the cosmos. If a cosmological model predicts that we should be Boltzmann brains, that model must be wrong. It has failed the test. Why? Because science itself relies on the assumption that our observations are reliable and that the past actually happened in a consistent way. We observe the cosmic microwave background radiation and trust it is a real relic of the Big Bang. We analyze starlight and trust it comes from real distant stars. If we are Boltzmann brains, all of our evidence is just a random part of the hallucination. We couldn't trust any observation or experiment. Science would be impossible. The very act of reasoning that we are likely a Boltzmann brain would itself be an unreliable product of that brain's random configuration. The paradox eats itself. So, the fact that you can think about this problem, that the universe appears consistent and understandable, is used by many as evidence against the Boltzmann brain scenario. Our reality seems too stable, too structured, too coherent to be a random blip.
The paradox reveals a deep incompleteness in our understanding of the relationship between entropy, cosmology, and consciousness. It shows us that we are missing a fundamental piece of the puzzle. Perhaps our theories of the early universe are wrong. Perhaps our understanding of quantum fluctuations on eternal scales is flawed. Or perhaps there's a principle about consciousness we haven't even begun to grasp. The Boltzmann brain isn't a ghost to be feared, but a signpost pointing towards a deeper truth we have yet to uncover. It forces us to be humble about our knowledge and to keep questioning. It is the ultimate mind bender. So, the next time you recall a precious memory or feel the solid ground beneath your feet, take a moment, appreciate the profound mystery of it all, and ask yourself the question that haunts the edges of cosmology. Are you the result of a 13.8 billion year cosmic story, an unbroken chain of cause and effect? Or are you a lonely, momentary miracle of chaos, a disembodied thought floating in the eternal silent darkness, who just imagined you were? The answer is still out there, waiting in the void.
The world is full of fascinating paradoxes, isn't it? We hope today's facts truly bent your mind. If you're ready for more daily revelations that challenge the norm, subscribe to Mindbenders. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a new video. Until next time, keep questioning.